that are being, I guess, fitted out or determined, but it has been very beneficial to the clients that we have and the ones that call us every day.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome back to our special guest, Attorney Amber Ladner. Amber, before the break, we talked about your decision to run for judge, and I was honored that you let me know that. And I would like, if you would, to tell the viewers what prompted you, what motivated you to run for judge, and how do you see what you can accomplish as a judge?
I think my biggest thing is probably next to the district attorney, the judge, the trial judge is the most important person in the courtroom. And the reason I put it that way is because our district attorney makes the decision of what our client's charged with, what offers they're made, what charges to dismiss or go forward with. So they have a lot of control as far as if things get worked out or not. And then if things can't, the next thing is the trial judge. And it's so important to have a trial judge who is open-minded, who doesn't put a lot of pressure on the defense attorneys or a defendant to plead to get settled or to make them feel like, well, if you don't take this offer by the state, then I'm going to punish you if you're found guilty. Because I truly feel like every person deserves their day in court. Absolutely. And not everybody's guilty. They're just not. They're not always guilty. And, it's important to have a judge who's impartial and fair and will listen to both sides, who will let the lawyers do their jobs, not just say, well, I know the law's this, because, well, sometimes it's not, and the lawyers have to have an opportunity to make a record. I think it's my time. The position I'm running for, Judge Vincent, she's a wonderful judge. She taught me in law school. She's retiring this year, and her position's come open. And I just feel like I'm the right person for her spot. And I want to be able to do basically what she's done for, I think she's been on the bench 18 years. So I want to be able just to continue her legacy and to go forward in that position and offer, victims and defendants an opportunity to be heard and have their case heard in court.
So what I'm really hearing you say is that you, as a judge, would endeavor to do whatever it takes to be fair to both sides. And that's very applaudable.
Well, thank you.
And when is the election? And what have you done to prepare for the campaign?
All right. The primary is going to be June 5th of 2018, and the general election's November 6th of 2018. So we're a little less than, I guess, maybe 6 months out from the primary, and maybe about 10, 11 months from, or 12 months almost, to the general election. And it's a long process, but honestly, Richard, I've spent the last 14 years, I think, trying to build a relationship, not only in my community in the city of Birmingham, but in the county also.
And the state.
And the state. But only Jefferson County gets to vote for me. So, and a lot of times, I know it sounds silly, but in the past, I've taken clients with me, former clients, to their neighborhoods and had them walk me around, introduce me to people. I've stopped at barbecues and met people, and I think people appreciate that, because if I'm elected and they ever come to my court, they'll be like, well, she's just like me. And that's how I want people to feel, because I think people can be more honest and open about everything. And not only is it important for the judge to have a fair trial, but a lot of times in our world, in the criminal justice world, a lot of people plead guilty and they're sentenced, and I want to be compassionate, because a one-size-fits-all doesn't work in the criminal justice system. Every defendant that comes before the court has a different story and a different life experience, and their punishment should be molded around their situation, around the facts and the victims. A lot of times they're drug cases, and just providing them help so that they don't go back out and reuse and they don't steal to support their habit, and it's providing them support and just being there and working hard to help them, because helping them helps the community.
One of the things that I'm so impressed with that you've talked about today was your background and growing up with challenges in terms of poverty a little bit, or however you described it. And I think that's a real advantage, because what aren't we really looking for people that can understand all aspects of the criminal justice system and society?
Absolutely. You know, my parents divorced when I was 2, and my mom, she worked 3 or 4 jobs, and my dad's always worked 3 or 4 jobs also, my entire life. And, you know, I have family who have lived in the projects. I have family who, as you know, has been charged with serious crimes, even capital murder. And to be able to see that they can get a fair shake in the court system. And it's not surprising. Sometimes I will walk into court and our defendants sit in the jury box, and I'll see a family member there. And, you know, I always check on them, make sure they're doing good. A lot of times I don't represent family just because it's a hard situation, but because I don't want to be blamed for not doing something the right way. But, and not that they don't love and respect me, I just think it's better for all parties. But, you know, it's just, I know how important it is sometimes. And a lot of times it's my poor family members who, you know, have just grown up in a very hard situation, and instead of taking the right path, they made some poor decisions, and they have found themselves in the criminal justice system. And it doesn't make them bad people, it's just they made a bad decision. And it's so important to have really good legal representation, whether you're court appointed or you can hire somebody. And that's been part of my goal, is to make sure that, you know, I've been able to provide that for people. And probably the work I enjoy the most is working with the indigent, because they don't have a voice, whether it's in a courtroom or it's just in society. And so it's just a bigger responsibility. But I think all of that makes me who I am. And, you know, as a judge, it's also important to help make sure and ensure those people have proper representation. When I was a young lawyer, you know, the judges appointing me cases didn't give me capital murder cases. You know, my first 2 or 3 years, or a murder case or a trafficking case, you know, they gave me easier cases. You know, they gave me the possession of marijuana, the things to help me get the experience that I needed to later move on to those type cases. And so the judge is very critical in our system all the way around, to just make sure that all the attorneys are competent also.
So what kind of advice would you give to a young woman that is trying to make a decision about whether she would become a lawyer?
Absolutely. I think the legal profession is probably one of the most honorable professions that anybody can be in. And I think I've just been blessed my entire career. Even in law school, a prominent divorce attorney here in our county and our state spoke to my class in college. And she talked about how she breastfed, and she was reading depositions, and her little girl cut her foot on the bottom of some of the stacks of paper. But she just talked about how you could do it all. And I have taken that and I've ran with it. And I absolutely believe anybody can do everything. You know, I breastfed both of my girls for 6 months. There's not anything I can't do. I'm a Girl Scout leader. I have been for 14 years now. So of both of my daughter's troops, I mean, truly a woman can do anything that they want to do. And this is a great profession, and I think we have some of the best colleagues of any profession out there.
So what kind of impact would you like to leave? What kind of impression, what kind of footprint would you like to leave as both an attorney and a judge?
I think the biggest thing is that people just remember me as the person that gives my all. Sometimes I might not always be on the right side, but everybody knows where I stand, everybody knows what I believe, everybody knows what I'm passionate about, and that I 100% try to do the right thing, and I speak my mind, and I stand up for things when a lot of people wouldn't. And I think that that's what I want, no matter as a lawyer, as a judge, just as a person on the street, that's what I want everybody to remember me.
Well, there's certainly an element of both compassion and fearlessness in you. And so I am very grateful that you agreed to be our special guest today, and look forward to your campaign.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed being here.
Thanks. We'll see you next time. My name is Richard Jaffe, the senior partner in the Birmingham, Alabama law firm of Jaffe, Hanle, Whisonant, and Knight. We are going to explore with you the hottest cases, the most controversial topics of Alabama justice, and we're going to bring to you exciting key players that make our Alabama justice work or not work. We look forward to having you.